Oh, it's another day, another project. This project been holding on for a while because I didn't actually know how I was going to tackle it. If I'll try to figure it out. But I made the decision just to put cabinets in my pantry, just the base cabinets at the bottom, and then go ahead and put like floating shelves on the top. Because right now we just have the builder grade wire racks that's in there right now, which served its purpose for a while. But with the weight, you can start seeing it dipping in certain places, and it's only a matter of time before it gets pulled off the wall. So we need to also be able to have stuff that we can actually put into storage that we don't want to keep out. And I had several ideas of what I was going to do. I was originally going to start off with putting like upper cabinets at the bottom, and then just I would have more space in the pantry, but not as much cabinet space. And I was like, you know what? I'd rather have like a full base cabinet as well as actual countertop, so we could put some of our appliances is in the kitchen now into the pantry also. I got these bad boys from Home Depot, 3 unfinished ones, the other one's in the corner. Don't mind the mess in here, we moving things around. I bought that one in the corner a couple months ago because they came in at a local like home liquidator store that's right around the corner from us. So pro tip, if you're trying to start doing DIY projects around the house and you find things that are a little expensive, look for a local liquidator store. You might get some open box items. You might get some stuff that's just like discontinued that the store doesn't need anymore. But you usually get a pretty good deal. I've gotten a lot of stuff from it. From my lawnmower, I got a Ryobi crosscut that I'm going to do a review on another date. I got that for like more than half off pretty much because I don't know why, but it works perfectly fine. It's been a champ for the last month, so I love that. Got other couple Ryobi products. I got a Sharp vacuum from there. I got some other tools and like post hole digger. Like you get a post hole digger from Home Depot for like $49. I went there and got one for $15. So that was good. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let me take you inside so you see what the pantry looks like. All right, so this is our current pantry. I locked myself in here so you can see the full thing. I painted the entire house, but I never painted in here because I never knew what to do in here. But this is somewhat clean and in order because his kids started back to school last week. So Sherelle got it somewhat in order so that she could figure out the lunch and all that stuff. So ideally, the plan is to put the base cabinets down on this side. It's 3 30-inch cabinets because this is like 96 inches, give or take. Obviously, there's going to be some imperfections in the wall, so that's going to cause that a little bit headache. Floating shelves are going to go across there. Now, I did flooring throughout the entire house a couple years ago, like 3 years ago. A good DIY would have probably planned this better and said, hey, I'm going to do flooring, but I'm also going to redo the pantry. The cabinets have to not go on the flooring because it's floating floors. So you should either leave the gap for the cabinets or wait until you put the cabinets in before you do the floors. But we really needed to do the floors because of the carpet and stuff like that. So we got rid of the carpet. And I never knew what I was going to do with the pantry. But now we're in here. So plan is we're going to get the cabinets in here. I'm going to bring the cabinets in first because I read online it's best to actually put the cabinets in first before painting them. I am going to paint them a color because there's no way I'm going to be able to match the colors in the kitchen. So it's going to be like a grayish color. I'm going to use a countertop right off the shelf from Lowe's or Home Depot, one or two, that semi-matches the granite countertop that's in the kitchen now. It won't be a granite countertop though. It is that thing that you see like in apartments and stuff. I don't know what's called off top. If it pop, you'll see when I get to it. That's going to come in here. If I have enough room, I'm thinking about using this side right here to put 2 wall cabinets and build a place for them, just to add another storage, but we'll cross that bridge. I don't know what I'm going to do about the backsplash situation just yet. I am thinking I'm going to do... I can't do the Subway tiles or the Haribo tiles that's like in the kitchen. I'm going to figure it out, though. We'll figure it out. I might do it. I might do it. But yeah, that's the plan. there's a power outlet on this side of the next side of the wall. I'm gonna tap into that power outlet to get 2 power outlets behind the cabinets, well, on the wall of the cabinets, because I want to be able to keep some of the appliance inside. But these are the things that I want to put in the base cabinet. All these big things that we have up here, plus some things that are in like these right here, like the George Foreman grill fires. I want to get the deep fryer off the floor because that spilled twice before and it was a miserable time cleaning it up. But yeah, this got to get painted over. Yeah, I already put a light in here, so I don't have to worry about a light in here, but we got it. We're going to make it work. Let's do this. Spend time tracing it out with the cabinets and cutting back, but because I'm going to put cabinets on this side also, it's probably just going to be easier just to pull back all the flooring instead of trying to slowly cut and break with oscillating saw. Only time will tell if that plane is still a plane tomorrow. We should be all right. I think I committed to a design. Well, I actually kind of committed because I went and got the straight piece of the laminate. I was potentially going to do an L shape, but that added like an extra $300 to the project. And I'm already, I think, like $600-ish in. So yeah, we gotta lower back. But I'm gonna use these 2x2s to start building out the framing for the floating shelves. This is just the filler pieces. I got some Romex so that I could add some power outlets. But yeah, it's not that bad yet. I'm about to go inside and start like using the shims to kind of make sure the cabinets are leveled where they're supposed to be. I'm gonna whip out the laser level and we should be all right. I mean, what's the worst that could go wrong, right? All right, so this was the L I was talking about. I kind of liked it because it was going to give more countertop space. That would have been dead space. Then I would have bought a 9-inch cabinet for there. But we're also going to redo the garage in a little while. So I think my goal is to have like the garage a little bit more for storage as well. So I'm gonna move all the holiday stuff and get a second shed. You'll see that in another video when I redo the epoxy on the floor of the garage and so, or actually do epoxy the floor of the garage. So I think I'm gonna keep it straight. I'm committing to it. I just have to have Sherelle approve the countertop because it does match our countertops a little bit, but it's not granite, it's linoleum. It's the linoleum thing. So it doesn't have all the same like characteristics of our regular countertop, but because it's in this room, I don't think it's gonna be too much of a big deal. Only time will tell though. We'll figure that out when we get there. Now, one good thing is that the floor here is actually really leveled. So I won't have to really do too much. What I did though, I did go ahead and mark all the studs are in the walls. And I'm going to start using the shims to make sure it stays level as I drill it in. I'm just going to use a laser level to find the center of the wall so I can make this shelf in the center of this cabinet flush in the center, ideally. And then I'll figure out how much gaps I have because I do have 2 pieces for the fillers. I probably have to rip them down. I don't have a circular saw, a table saw, so that'll be fun. But now, this is also my first time installing cabinets, so I'm going to give a general idea of what I'm doing, but I'll also leave the links to the videos I used to figure out how to do this in the first place. Pretty much straightforward. Find the studs, drill the pilot holes, when you line up the shelving, the cabinets, drill them in. If you need to keep it level as best as possible, but then also make sure if you need to, you shim. So I do have a pack of shims nearby, because as you drill into the wall, there's a chance it might kind of shift up a little bit. And then I have some clamps to try to clamp the pieces together. I am gonna take the doors off the cabinets anyway. I'm gonna do that now because I'm gonna have to take them off to paint them, so it'll be easier to clamp them together if the doors are off. Outlet there. It's sloppy, but I'm gonna have a backsplash here and I just need to cover it so nothing happens to the kids. Outlet there, because on the other side of that is where there's another outlet, so I tapped into that power. So right now all I did was, I did use one shim so far to kind of make this center cabinet level. And what I did was, I was gonna use the laser level and mark it in the middle of the wall. What I did instead was, I positioned them in places and then I measured out from each of these walls to see, because you know, sometimes walls bow, and I moved it as much as possible until both sides are exactly about 2.5 inches on each side. So I'll just have to rip down both boards half an inch. And now what I'm gonna do is, I put one screw in the back for now, and now I'm gonna use this clamp to make sure these are all tied together. But what I'm gonna do is clamp up to each other first. I already drilled a pilot hole. Screw these together. Once these are there, then I'm gonna tack it to the back wall. Same thing on the other side. And I'm not a professional, but the best way I thought about doing it was get it to as close as this as possible without being right there on it. And we'll see, it should hide it pretty well. I mean, if you're in my pantry looking at where my bolts are, my screws are, you shouldn't be in my house. Plus I'm on a time limit because it's Saturday. I want to get this somewhat back in order by tomorrow so that I can start putting things back, because when it's time for the kids to go back to school on Monday, Sherelle might not be as lenient to give me time to finish this. So scratch what I said about it all being leveled and perfectly great. I actually needed to use a lot more shims than I thought I was gonna need. So just a word of advice, when you are just putting the cabinets on the floor, it looks level, but when you start like attaching them, that's when you start to see like the variations in the dips, and you have to kind of put some in the back, put some more at the bottom to kind of level it out. Definitely make sure you have some sort of clamps in order to keep them together. That'll make life a lot easier. And take your time. That probably took me about an hour to do. Now, I'm a rookie. A professional might be laughing and say, I could do that in 10 minutes and I'll be on to the next house. It took me about an hour. But, you know, now I got to figure out how to do the filler pieces on the end, because the top of the wall is wider than the bottom of the wall. I'll figure it out. So I had to move quick because it's raining outside right now, and I was actually doing all my sewing outside, but I was able to finish the flooring in here. Pro tip, if you ever do your floor yourself, yeah, they say to get extra for waste, but also grab a couple extra boxes, especially in my case where my flooring was on sale because it was on clearance, so it's kind of much like I'll probably never see it again. So I technically bought like 3 extra or 4 extra boxes that I didn't actually need. And I was able to use those new boxes today. Well, I only needed half of one of the new ones. And I was able to kind of finish back the floor and put new flooring down. Because like I told you, I spilled all on the floor. So all the old flooring I just got rid of. Start fresh. But yeah, cabin's in. I didn't film it with the granite countertop because it's really tight in here. I had to actually take the door off the hinges to get it in here. But it's nice. I have to get, I'm gonna go to the store and grab some Loctite glue so I could glue it down. And then I didn't think I needed the end pieces, but the gap is a little wide for me to hit with caulk. I'm gonna see, I'm gonna maneuver. If I can do it caulk and it looks fine, I'll leave it. But worst case scenario, I'll get the end pieces. Tonight, I'm gonna try to seal all the holes in the wall, which I suck at, so that's gonna be interesting. I think that's gonna make or break the room too, so we'll figure that out. I'm probably gonna have to repaint the door a little bit because I did try to get the countertop in here with the door on the hinges and it nicked it a few times. We'll figure it out though. But so far, now I need to figure out if I'm gonna go with the subway towel, like the herringbone we got here, which I don't know how to do. But it's not that expensive. It's just gonna be tedious and a learning process. My second option is using shiplap. If you watched my older video, I did do a shiplap fireplace in our master sitting room. So I kind of have a general idea how that's gonna work. Painting wise, that sucks. But I think I might keep it the white color, so that might save me some time because I still have to paint the regular walls gray. We found the gray to paint the actual cabinets, and then the floating shelves, I'm gonna stain like a darker color to match the cabinets inside the kitchen. This like espresso color or whatever it's called, ebony. It's not gonna be perfectly matched. The countertop does somewhat match. It doesn't have like that purple cranberry colors inside of it, but hey, we'll make it work. Probably about maybe $600 in at this point. Luckily, I was able to get one cabinet for $50. The other ones were $150 each. I had a $70 gift card also. Countertop was $160. So yeah, about $600 I'm in. But we'll keep it going. I still haven't bought paint yet. Still gotta do that. I bought the framing for the shelving, but I actually didn't buy the lumber that covers the shelving yet. So that's probably another $100-ish. We'll see. Alright, so here's how we're looking so far. Started getting the framing up. I actually just went, because I ran out of screws, so I actually just went and got the actual boards to cover everything. I spent a little bit more money than I thought. I ended up upgrading the type of wood instead of just getting the common whiteboard. I went and got like the premium pine that they offer, because it's pretty much almost fairly square already, and I don't have to worry about sanding and stuff like that. Also, I figured, this being the pantry and off to the kitchen, I'm already in the hole. I might as well just use better quality materials. So now I don't have to worry about like sanding. I'm still sanding a little bit, but should help me a lot in speeding up the process. So, but yeah, it's coming along pretty well. It's taking a little longer than I thought it was gonna take. It's hot outside and I have to cut the wood outside. Even when I was cutting in the garage, it's so hot and humid in the garage. It's like, it kind of takes the energy out of you a little bit. But I'll put my goal today at least, by today, because it's Sunday, my goal today is just to at least get all the shelves up. I wanted to stain the shelves outside, but I'm gonna stain it inside when the kids are at school so it has a chance to air out. So tomorrow after I drop off Kason at school, I will shoot to Home Depot, get the paint for the cabinets, pick the color for the shelving, get the paint for the walls, and we should be good-ish. I'll caulk everything up tonight too. But yeah, let's keep going. So I can't tell you the measurements of well, I can tell you my measurements, but your pantry is gonna be a little different. Pretty much what I did though was I did 18 inches, well, 18.25 inches from the countertop to the bottom of this, because I'm also gonna put a 1/4 inch plywood underneath, so that should be 18 inches at the bottom. And then this to this is 13.5 inches, because with the shelf that goes on top of it plus the quarter panel, that makes this like 12.5 inches, give or take. Then this one is larger. This is going to be like a 16-inch opening, and I don't know how much the top is, but we did it all around. And what I did to secure it is pretty straightforward. I wish I could have put it all together in the garage and then bring it in here as one big piece or in pieces, but the way the pantry set up is a little bit of a pain to try to like bring in anything that long, because bringing the countertop was rough. I messed up the door a lot. So it's pretty straightforward. Find the studs, drill the backs into the studs, cut smaller pieces in the middle as support, then cut two 45-degree angles to make one of these bad boys. And I pretty much just put them in wherever I feel that I need a little extra support. Obviously in the sections I have a little bit more there, and I just kind of go around. I figured there's no real right or wrong. I mean, you can't do pull-ups on it, but once I put everything together, it should distribute the weight evenly enough. Plus, it is fairly solid. All right, so a little bit of rundown on how I did the measurements. Measurements are pretty straightforward. I'm using a 1x12 to cover all the shelves. Now 1x12 actually is gonna be 11.25 by 3/4 inch. So that means what I did was I used 2x2s instead of 2x4s. So these are actually 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. So what I did was I made the brackets big enough to fit just the shelving. So this all comes out to be 11.25 inches. So I cut these little midi boards in between. I believe it was 8.25, I think it was. And then when I put the front fascia on, that'll finish the look, and life will be pretty good from there. And they'll come out a total of 12 inches because the front board is 1/4 inch thick. So if you never bought wood before, don't go based off of what the measurements say of like a 1x12, 1x6, 2x, like they're not actually that size. They're actually a different size. There's so many different charts you could look at, because I think like 2x4s are actually 1.5 by 3.5 inches, but then it goes up higher and then it goes down, like some of them like 1/4 inch, some of them are 3. So you just gotta look. There's so many charts on there. And then if you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, it'll literally tell you the actual dimensions on it. Still got to go back and get the pieces for the bottom. I don't have a table saw, so I'm gonna have them cut it down for me, but we'll see. It'll only be 1, 2, 3 cuts, 4, 5 cuts on two 4x8 boards. Well, yeah, it's coming together. I use some wood filler to seal the holes from the brad nailer. nice and strong. You know, gotta do my tile backsplash. Sharella's figuring out if we're gonna stick with the gray cabinets or a different color. All right, we're coming together. Did painting. I did paint the back of the doors while they were off so that I could add the hinges back on them. But painting the front is actually pretty easy while on the wall itself. That way I could kind of get all the corners without it getting stuck to whatever plastic I have it sitting on because I don't have anything to hang them from. So just easier this way and shouldn't be too big a deal. The biggest thing is I just wanted to make sure I got the backside taken care of. So those are taken care of and now I could do the front. But now it's time to do all the tedious work with patching all the holes. First coat down, I'm gonna sand them down and patch them again. Adding caulk to the spaces on the seams, which is gonna be a lot of caulking to do. Wood filler to fill all my nail holes from the brad nail as well as any area where there might be a little gap. I gotta sand down certain spots. Also wood filling in places just where generally where like the bands from the were on the lumber when they brought them in, and it should be good to go from there. Yeah, a lot of sanding, and I still have to get the bottom boards. But overall, I really can't complain. It's taken me a lot longer than I thought, but it's coming together. I've spent a lot more than I thought I was gonna spend. So if you are looking to redo your pantry, there's a few things you need to consider. What type of cabinets you're gonna use, if you're gonna use cabinets, because that's gonna be a significant price. Each of these cabinets, 30 inches, was $145 or $150 each, give or take. Luckily, I only had to buy two because I bought one from a lumber liquidator for not lumber liquidator, but a liquidation store for $50. So that saved me $100 on one of them. The countertop was $165. So that was a big significant price. Upgraded wood so that I didn't have to sand as much. That caused the price to go up a little bit. But if you have a smaller pantry and you could use wall cabinets instead, that'll save you some dollars because you get the wall mounts for like $100 a lot of times. But you just have to build a base for it, but that's not a big deal. That's just 2x4s. So really depends on you. You can make it as nice or unnice as you want. This is your space. I'm a big believer in when your house, you do what you want to do in your own house and go from there. But, you know, I think people do fall into the trap of starting a DIY project, think they're going to save a lot of money. Yeah, you're going to save a lot of money, but majority of that money you save is going to be on labor, to be quite honest with you. Even buying the material itself, unless you're buying material from a discount shop or at a place to where you get wholesale prices or like contractor prices, you're already paying for like the markup on a lot of these things anyway. So like you're not saving too much money on the actual material itself. You are saving a little bit, but Lowe's and Home Depot, they're going to get their money regardless. So yes, you'll save some dollars, but all that saving is going to come from the labor. And to me, that's good enough. But you also got to consider your skill set and how long it's going to take you. And then you start calculating time. Now, I will say this. I worked my way up to a lot of the projects, so I don't have any formal training in any way, shape, or form. My last house I was in was a lot older, so I did a lot of projects there that didn't come out great, but I learned so much from doing those projects that then I do smaller things here, and then I do small enough things to say, you know what, I could make it up. So like these shelvings, I tried it before in our laundry room. They didn't really come out too great, but because in the laundry room, I didn't really care. And I learned from the mistakes. I now have a little bit more better understanding of like what to do. Also, tools matter. Like having the right tool for the job makes a big difference. So once you get the tool once, you're good. Then obviously you gotta learn how to use the tool, but having the right tool for the job really makes a difference. Like having a solid drill works wonders because you won't strip screws and while you're trying to put into a wall, like you need a really good drill. But yeah, that's it. We'll keep going with the caulking and the sanding, and then I'll have to stain, but I'm gonna wait until the kids are in school so it doesn't smell too crazy in here. And then that's it. Let's keep going. All right, let me hit you with a little pro tip. So I got all these little holes from the brad nailers. Also the rubber piece from my brad nail fell off, so it leaves indentation sometimes. But you just need some plastic wood filler or something. Put it on your finger, you don't gotta put a lot. Put it on the hole like that. Do a quick little rub, little circular motion. And you see it now because of the camera, but after you feel it, it's actually pretty smooth. So when I stain it, you won't actually see it anymore. And you do it over and over again, and it pretty much just takes care of itself. And then if you need to, you go back again, but you see that one's a lot better. And then life is good. And now dry, pretty good. So I don't have a truck, so I can't get big sheets of plywood. And then waiting at Lowe's and Home Depot sometimes for them to cut it down, you'd be waiting there forever because there's usually no buying lumber nowadays. I end up getting the sanded plywood that's already in 2 foot by 4 foot sections, and I cut them down with a jigsaw because I don't know what the battery is for my circular saw. And now I'm just nailing them up. There's gonna be a gap for now. I'm gonna fill in it with wood filler, and then I'll hopefully be able to make this seam look effortless, ideally. You know, only time will tell. But this is the part where we just gotta make it work and get it done. Well, started cleaning up a little bit because all major construction is officially done. Today I spent some time adding some wood filler underneath to try to cover these seams. Probably gonna have to hit that spot again just because I'm looking at it now. But this is where, when I said the right tools will definitely make life easier. So if I had a table saw and also a pickup truck, I could have got my big sheets of 4x4, 4x8s, and slid them through the table saw and have nice straight line rip cuts, but I didn't. So I had to do these in little sections. But some of them came out smooth. The ones underneath this bottom section where you can't see came out a lot better than the top. But luckily I am using a dark stain. It's Kona from Varathane. And my goal is, today's Thursday night, my goal is to try to get this stained tonight, give it some time to dry. I bought the upgraded one where it says it could do it all in one coat. We'll see if that's true or not. I want it to dry so that by Saturday, sure, I gotta work in the morning time, so by Saturday night when she comes home, she can start putting stuff back into the pantry how she wants it, and then we can figure out what else we need in here. I have the hardware coming. I had to find online to match the ones that's the rest of the house. So I have the hardware coming. I have a new light coming, which is a longer panel light to kind of light this area, because as you can see with my camera lighting, it's really dark in here, which wasn't a big issue before, but now with the shelving providing a little bit more shadows and stuff, it's going to need a little bit more light in here. I was going to put a Gobi round puck light, but I think I need more light, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna paint the walls this week probably. Ideally, if I could get it stained and the stain looks good tonight, Then I'll go ahead and seal up all my joints. I did have to get the end caps, which were extra $60 because my gaps were a little too wide on the side, just because the wall bulges out. But yeah, we make it work. You can see where the wall bulge out here, so I had to use the wood filler underneath there and there. It actually came out better than I thought it was going to be. You see it more on camera, but in real life, it doesn't look too bad because of I got the light color and it goes pretty good with the pine. So we'll stain it. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I don't even know if I did a good job recording this video. This is my first project in a while. I should have probably been more of a professional in making sure I document things better. I'm still trying to figure out like how the style is I want the video to look like, or my videos to look like. But I have a bunch of projects that I have coming down the line. I have to finish this. I got a couple outdoor pergolas that I'm building. I gotta build the shed because I moved the fence. So I got a couple things I gotta do. Once I do all that and I get the shed up, I can move stuff out the garage into the shed. I gotta epoxy the floor in the garage. And then I have a lot of smaller little things that we're gonna kind of go through and we're gonna figure out together. I am using pre-stained wood conditioner. When I stained my table, I was building a table and I didn't precondition it, and the stain didn't come out well. So when I redid it over and actually preconditioned it, it came out looking great. So definitely make sure you take the time to hit the preconditioner on it to help with the botching of it, and we should be good to go from there. So I'll do that now. It'll dry. It actually dries fairly quickly. Let it soak for an hour or two and then come back and start staining. Shouldn't take too long, especially as one coat. I have a couple staining rags, I have sponges and a brush to get certain spots. My goal is to keep it off the wall as much as possible. If it touches the wall a little bit, it's fine because I got a caulk around it anyway where it touches to fill in any gaps, and then so that when I paint, we're nice and strong. I am starting to paint. I actually was just going to hit like do a first coat of all the places where I put the stain on the wall. Didn't really care too much about it because I knew I was going to paint the wall anyway. And honestly, I'm getting tired, so like I was just rushing through, and I was like, you know what, I'll deal with it later. Worst case scenario, I'd have to put primer down first, but I got pretty good bare paint, so it does a pretty good job covering. But what I really intended to do was just cover all the holes that I patched up with a first coat of paint, so that it has a total of 3 coats. It hides the spackle a little bit better. But then I started doing it, and I started going around. I was like, you know what? I might as well finish this all today. So I'm gonna work on painting in here, finish it up. See, it's coming in. I'm trying to get it all in the angle because my camera died, but yeah, we're coming. I have to get a new light for up there because I'm going to get a long one to kind of bring light in here. So we'll do it. done. Everything's painted up, stained, good to go. Caulked the outline of that real quick. So now we're back in the game. The only thing left now is I do have to put the quarter round back. It's in the garage. And then I do have to put the toe kick in front of the cabinets, which I have in the garage also. I have to paint it first to match the rest of the cabinets. The hardware has not come yet, but I did have the jig. I'm gonna use the jig to post the holes in tomorrow. I think the hardware's supposed to be here by tomorrow from when I look for shipping. But we're good to go from there. Then my part is officially over, and it's up to Cheryl to put things where she thinks she wants to put them. The only thing I might do is like put the microwave in here because I have this long surge protector. The power's on this side, but I might put the microwave on this side. Then I might put something here to block the plug-in for the surge protector. And then from there, she'll have free reign of however she wants to kind of get this done. I know. Oh, I also got to put the rubber bumpers on the cabinet doors also. I don't know. What else? I think that's it. I think we're good. So the next clip should be ideally me adding the hardware and then the final product. Let's keep on trucking. This is it. This is the final product. Everything's inside. We're still organizing it. We just had to get everything back in the pantry that was in the pantry. But like that stuff up there is going to go into the garage once I put shelving and stuff in the garage. So it is still a work in progress. We just pretty much had to make use of the space we had. And I think it came out pretty good. What you guys think? Looks pretty good to me. Got the base in now. I gotta adjust this cabinet door. This is my first time adjusting cabinet doors, and it's weird doing the two different screw things, but I'll get that all tightened up. I got all the hardware to match the hardware we had in house. Good thing we built the house, so I was able to find the model number from our closing documents, well, the selection documents. I think pretty good. Also changed out the light up there for longer light to provide more light throughout the actual pantry. But yeah, I didn't use polyurethane on this because honestly, I liked how it looked just like this, and it's pretty good. Yeah, it might get dinged up a little bit. We'll see how it works. I know the stain I use, so I can always restain it again if I need to. But overall, it came out pretty good to me. Even the panels at the bottom, I was able to stain those, and it came out looking really good. Still have a couple more things coming, like these little trays. We got a couple more coming to put more things in them to make it look like a pantry from HD TV. But I think it looks pretty good. Cabinets have stuff in them. So I put the little bumpers on these. So it wasn't too bad. I am a little over budget, but it's okay. Luckily, I didn't have to do the backsplash like I want to do, and I honestly really just wanted to do a backsplash so I could get used to tiling, so when I do the bathroom, it's not the very first time tiling anything. As for potential like hidden costs that you might have to worry about, the hardware, I spent 9 knobs to match the ones that are already in the kitchen. I think I spent $50 to get those. Had to get the little bumpers that goes on the cabinet to make them close a little softer. Those are like $8. I moved to power, so I added extra cost because of moving power from adding an extra outlet inside here, but also running power to behind the cabinet. So I got that taken care of. If you're doing this and you decide that you're going to have like some fancy storage solutions, like little clear containers like this, these things are kind of expensive and you don't really find them cheap. Even if you buy cheap versions, they're not really still inexpensive, I guess, because the thought process is, if you're spending money to put things that comes in containers in other containers, it's like, all right, you got to pay to play kind of thing. So that was a little extra expense. Also, because I did the floating shelves and I also covered the bottom. Now you can leave the bottom exposed. I just wanted it covered so that it looked like a solid piece of wood. Obviously it's not a solid piece of wood, but just kind of just have that vibe of it. So that's an expense that you might have to consider unless you're just doing a cover yourself. Stain was cheap. Stain was like $12 for the quart. And then like another $15 or $14 for the wood conditioner that I used. I then had to get a light. That was like $60 to get the light. So it all depends on how you want to do it that way. But this countertop did come in clutch. It was $160 plus the extra $60 for the 2 end cap pieces. And it pretty much was the length of what I needed. I just had to cut off, I believe, 1.25 inches in order to get it to fit in here. And I almost saved money by not having to buy the end pieces, but the gaps were too wide on one side because the wall kind of like goes out. But hey, these things happen. I guess if I was a better builder, I could have kind of cut to scribe to the wall a little bit better. Yeah, I ain't got that to me. So it all worked out well. I repainted the walls in here, so that cost another. Paint is getting expensive. I don't know if it's always been expensive, but I've been buying paint a lot more recently. I feel like every time I go, it's like $50 a pop. But I got paint here. Also painting the cabinets. I bought $50 to paint the cabinets. I bought a gallon though. I could have probably got away with just a quart. Also bought this storage thing, and I painted it the countertop because I had so much paint left over. I just painted that to match. But yeah, these are the things that will kind of like, once you get it, or like you get the pantry in here, and I could have used cheaper wood, but I went with the premium pine that was a lot smoother. I didn't have to really sand too much, and it was all pretty much square. So when I was putting the pieces together, I didn't have any like warp wood or anything like that. Only one piece wasn't the premium pine, which is this one right here. You can see the wood grain is a little different, but it's wood, so nobody's gonna know. And that one I did have to like sand a little bit and kind of like get ready and kind of good to go because it was just wonky. But these premium wood boards, a lot more expensive. Like the 1x12 I think was like $48, when like the regular base pine is like maybe like $28 or $32 or something like that. So that kind of got a little dicey because I had about 1, 2, 3, I bought 6 of them. And so it was good to go from there, but you know, I think it worked out well. So I did save a little money with using 2x2s instead of 2x4s. And then so that made my shelving a little smaller, which I like because I think it would have been a little too thick if I went the other way around. And this worked out well from just a measurement standpoint of being able to close it in completely without any extra rip cups really. So like, I enjoy that. But otherwise, I think it's good in here. The only thing left that I have to do is, that's it. Nothing. Yeah, nothing. I appreciate y'all for watching though. If you have any questions, let me know. I am over budget though. But I did save some money from not putting the backsplash, so I guess that's good.